Hi, and welcome to another Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine video. This is the Just Ask Jen series, and I'm designer Jen Gallacher, and in this series I will answer a question or two posed by our readers and those who are interested in learning more about scrapbooking and paper crafting. So today's sponsor is American Crafts, and this is from a Dear Lizzie collection that is full of eclectic pieces and patterns. And some of the items that I'll be using in my video today include the clothespins, some banner stickers. Two different sticker sheets are available, one with a softer muted tone and one that's a little more vibrant. There are thickers that match this collection. There are flare badges, sticker books that include all these different kinds of stickers, traditional sticker sheets, and then lots and lots of different pattern paper. And this is, as I said, a very eclectic pattern and collection that includes everything from horses to items that you might find on a charm bracelet, and that's why it's called the Lucky Charm collection. So today I'm going to be answering the question of how you can combine items from an eclectic collection to create a cohesive layout, and also how to hang things from your layouts in a creative way. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with the first part of the question, and that is how to creatively hang things on your layout. And this particular collection comes with these charming little clothespins. And clothespins are great. They aren't very large, so they do lie rather flat on your layouts, and so they'll work fine in any kind of scrapbook that you're doing. And then you'll also need a couple of buttons, or you can use brads. And then you'll need some kind of twine, and this is just crochet twine, and it's in a natural jute color. And I'm going to cut it slightly wider than my 12-inch layout, and then I'm going to thread it through the button. Now this particular button has two holes, and I'm going to go down through one and up through another and pull it taut, and then I'll do the same thing down through a hole, up through the other. And what we're doing is we're kind of creating a clothesline for our layout. And you can see that I can just stick it down here on the layout like this. Now I can curve it by hanging heavy things on it, or I can leave it taut like this. I can hang it diagonally. I can do more than one across the page. There's a lot of different ways to do this. I'm going to adhere those buttons with a glue dot, and it's a large glue dot so they will hold their shape. And I picked pearlized colored buttons because I liked kind of the eclectic vintage vibe of this collection. And if you're doing it straight across, make sure they are equal distant from the top. And then you can pull the twine down as you go. And then you can cut off the excess twine from the side. So we're going to go ahead and set aside these clothespins, and we'll start making things that we can attach to the layout. And one thing that I'm doing when I'm using an eclectic collection, and this is the second part of the question, is that I trust the designers that made the collection. Having worked for a manufacturer, lots and lots of hours go into planning collections. So trust that they have mixed colors and done the research. So even though this is maybe the first time that you've used a collection with a lot of different colors and a variety of patterns, trust it and work with it. Another way to treat an eclectic collection is, if you're finding that you're overwhelmed by the patterns and colors, is to use the B-sides. Now typically you'll have a bold pattern such as these fun triangles on the A side, which usually sits up at a scrapbook store. On the back side is typically, and not all manufacturers do this, but typically on the back will be a more tone-on-tone subtle pattern. If you're not finding that on the B side, simply look in the collection for these types of patterns because they are much easier to work with and go with everything. So I've cut a rectangle, and I'm going to create a pennant with it. We're going to create little pennants and flags to hang from this collection. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap the bottom of this pennant with some more of that twine. And you could use baker's twine or ribbon for this step. I'm going to wrap it around about 4 or 5 times and then tie it into a bow. We'll just do this on the bottom. And this collection really comes with pretty much everything that you could possibly want to use, but basic supplies also work really well with it. So then I'm going to add a sticker, and this was from the sticker sheet, and I've cut around the backing so I could move it around and manipulate it the way I want. And it says, "You'll never know, dear, how much I love you." This is going to be a layout about my daughter. And I will center that right on the blue pennant. And then I'm going to add some stickers to it. This is from their pennant sticker sheet. And I'm going to stick it right across the other sticker that I've used. Then from the chipboard stickers, I'm going to take this darling little polka dot Eiffel Tower, and I'm just going to layer it right over the top of those two stickers. So you can see how I'm just layering some different objects. And then I wanted to add my journaling here, so I printed my journaling on some craft cardstock, and I chose craft because 1, it's a neutral, and 2, it matches the clothespins. And then just to make it a little more interesting, I'm going to distress it by adding some brown pigment ink around the outside edges of each journaling strip. You could also do this with handwriting, and you could use chalk ink around it. However you like to distress it up. It just adds a little bit of color. And then we'll go ahead and adhere these to the journaling pennant that I've selected. We'll just overlap them slightly. And you can use the lines on the strip to make sure that your journaling is straight. And this is just a fun way to add journaling. I'm going to go ahead and tuck that underneath the Eiffel Tower. So the journaling reads, "It's really amazing how beautiful you are inside and out, Caitlin," which is my daughter's name. So there's our first pennant, and now to hang it onto the twine, I simply select one of the clothespins, and then I just clip that tag right to the twine. Now at some point you can leave them loose or you can attach them, and right now I'm going to leave them loose. But when I'm done, I'm going to actually attach the pennant so it hangs exactly how I want. I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I like to have them look that way. The second sheet that I wanted to use is some pink music note pattern paper. And at the strip on the bottom, American Crafts does this fun thing where it has the informational strip, but on the other side it has a fun pattern. And I am going to use that fun strip on this particular pennant. And we'll go ahead and cut this at the bottom like we did the first one. You can see we're just creating a bunch of different banners to hang from the twine. And those little border strips can be used in so many different ways. This is a fun way that you can do it. Then from the flare stickers, I'm going to use this poppy flare badge that says, "Let's go be adventurous." And then from the chipboard sticker sheet were these row of fun chevrons, and we'll go ahead and attach them to the teal diagonal strip that I cut from the bottom of the pattern paper. So I like to cut stickers out from the backing just so I can see how it's going to play out on my layout, and then if I don't like it, then I haven't ruined the sticker. I also sometimes will stick the stickers right back onto the paper if it didn't turn out quite like I envisioned. So I'll attach this one next, again using the clothespin. For a second, or rather third pennant, I'm going to use this bold star pattern paper. And you can start to see how the colors have been carefully planned for this collection. And I'm going to create an off-centered pennant on this one by making the triangle not quite straight. Then to bring in some more of that craft pattern paper, this was a vertical stripe, but I cut it on the diagonal. And I'm going to layer it on top of the pennant, and then I'm going to cut it off. Add some Xyron adhesive to it. Then I had a leftover doily in my supplies that I cut in half. I only needed half for a project, so I have the rest left over. And we're going to add this to the strip as well, just to keep those feminine details. And then before I add any more to this one, I would like this pennant to be underneath the music note. So I'm going to go ahead and attach it first so I know where to place my sticker. So I just gently put it underneath, and think about your layering when you are hanging things. So then I had this sticker that says Our Never Ending Story, and I'm going to tuck it behind. And I am using a rectangle shape on a half circle, and it works because when the banners overlap, it shows up like that. Now for a fun twist on the banner, I cut one of the 4x6 journaling cards, and we're going to use this for my photo. And I have a 3x5 inch photo that will fit inside of that 4x6 square. So this is one way you can use those 4x6 squares, whether you use them for journaling or photo matting. Just need to cut down your photos to fit. And then I have a strip that is teal, and it's a vertical stripe. And we're going to cut it right across the center here. We'll just trim off the excess. Put it right here at the bottom, but before we do that, I am going to cut it in a pennant shape because I'm going to leave my 4x6 journaling card as a rectangle, but I want to keep repeating that pennant shape, so I'm going to do it by cutting the strip that goes on top. Now to bring in some of the navy blue that you see in this collection, I'm going to use some tape, and this particular tape is from Bella Boulevard, and it is washi tape, and I'm just going to stick a little bit of it on the bottom. That helps bring in the navy blue that you're seeing. And then for the title of the layout, I'm just going to go ahead and use this great chipboard sticker that comes with the collection. We'll just stick that right across the top of that tape. Now we'll go ahead and attach this particular banner with 2 pins. So 2 clothespins at the top here. So you can see how the pennant starts to come together. I'm going to add a few more embellishments. I have a salmon pink button that is tied with twine that I'm going to add to the Eiffel Tower to bring some of that salmon pink into the layout. I look on the sticker sheets for little elements such as the little hearts, and I might add those around the layout. There's also fun stars. So I'll add a craft star. And you can just start adding different embellishments to the page. Then I want to add a little bit of color here at the bottom. So I'm going to grab another sheet of pattern paper from this collection. So the paper I've chosen is this nice tan chevron, and it's great because it's very subtle and matches a lot of the craft that we've been using. And I put this at the bottom because it kind of creates a foundation for the bottom of the page. From the sticker sheet is Be Awesome Today. We'll just add this to the top of the pattern paper strip, and then I'm going to add this extra special tab sticker to the side of the photo. And then here at the bottom, just to bring in some color, I'm going to use some enamel dots, and these are from My Mind's Eye. And there are a couple of different colors, just to bring some texture down here. Now at the beginning, I told you that once I get to this point, I don't necessarily like my pendants moving all around. So what I'll do is I'll just place a glue dot or two, or whatever adhesive you like, on the bottom of the pendants, and then I'll arrange them exactly how I want them to appear on the layout. That makes it so when you put it in your album, everything lays exactly how you envisioned it in your mind. So go ahead and add, it doesn't take a lot of adhesive, just enough to kind of hold it in place. Make sure you tuck things behind that you planned on tucking behind. So there you see how we've used an eclectic collection to create a cohesive layout, as well as how we've used clothespins and twine to hang elements from a page. Thank you for joining me for today's Just Ask Jen video. If you have additional questions, be sure to contact Scrapbook and Cards magazine. I'll include the email below.